In this video, we're going to do a complete walkthrough tutorial on Google Analytics, and Google Analytics is the most powerful free tool you could ever ask for, and it's really amazing that Google does provide this service for free. And we're going to go over how to use it. A lot of people have no idea what to do, and if you don't have Google Analytics installed yet, you need to do that as soon as possible. It's best if you have it from day one of starting your store. But then the question I get all the time is, what do I do once I have all this data? How do I use this data to improve my store? And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go over 8 different things on how to use Google Analytics, plus some more advanced tips at the end. The 8 things are, we're going to look at source/medium, AdWords. If you're using AdWords, Google Analytics can be very helpful. Behavior, transactions, goals, funnels, audience, and segments. So we're going to talk about all these, and we're going to start with what I think is the most important thing, and that is the source/medium. So if you go to acquisition, all traffic, source/medium, this is the one thing people always ask me, what's the one thing in Google Analytics you look at the most? And it's this. And so I want to show you a few different things. One, you can change the date up here. So let's say you wanted to do from August 22nd, 2016, all the way to August 28th, 2017. So that's a year's worth of data, and this is a lot of data. Now, keep in mind, one of the problems with Google Analytics is it won't tell you if there's an offline purchase. So my revenue is actually higher than this by quite a lot, but a lot of our revenue came in the form of phone calls. So you can set Google Analytics up so it will work with that, but this is predominantly website traffic and website sales. So I'm going to even go a little bit more narrow, just not to give away too much great information. Let's go to there. I don't want to give up all the secrets to my website. So first off, you can look at this period. So let's look at June 1st to August 28th. And you can just keep it like this. I'll show you one other trick. If you want to, you can click this compare button and compare it to the previous year or the previous period. But that's something a little bit more advanced. Maybe we'll get into later in this video. I'll just show you really quick how that works because it's kind of a cool tool. So you can see that, all right, last year I had this much. This year I've had about 6,800. Last year I had 7,800 coming from Google PC. So I just wanted to give a little quick bit about that, but let's actually get into the real thing here. So once you are on source/medium, these right here will tell you the channels that you're getting traffic from. So Google CPC, so that's paid advertising. Google Organic, that's organic traffic from Google. Pinterest DIY pins, these are pins from Pinterest. I can show you guys if you're interested in a different video. Basically, it's from Pinterest. We have special DIY pins. Direct/none is if people type in bdancewear.com. Bing CPC is paid ads from Bing. This is a specific email that we sent out. This is from Facebook, Pinterest, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, this is just going to automatically show the first 10, but if I want to, I can show even more. So we get a ton of traffic from a ton of different sources. But let's focus on, for instance, Google Organic. So this is the number of people that came within this period of time to the website. This is the percentage of new sessions, people that this is their first time on the website. This is the new users. So that's just, using that data to calculate how many new users come to the website. The bounce rate. So this is what percentage of people get to the website and automatically bounce. So a little over half of the people that come to my website, so you can calculate it if you'd want, immediately leave the page. Pages per session. Now, this is one of my most important things, and we'll repeat this a few times during this tutorial. But the number of pages per session is very important. It lets you know how engaged users are. So, for instance, people that come from my Pinterest DIY pins, on average, only go to 1.5 pages. That means that they go to one page, and some people go to 2 pages. So, on average, it's 1.5. That means they're not really looking around my website a lot. As opposed to people that come from organic traffic, they're looking at whatever page they landed on. They're looking at a second page and a third page. They're looking at my About Us page. They're looking at the FAQs. They're looking around my website. They're pretty engaged. You can also tell by the time, the average session duration. So right here, direct/none, they spend a lot of time, 2 minutes and 43 seconds on average. That's important. Another thing you're going to find is the e-commerce conversion rate, and these will vary. As you can see, people that come from my Pinterest DIY pins almost none of them buy. So I'm getting a lot of traffic, but they're not buying. So we'll talk about what this means later, but that might mean it's an opportunity for me to make those convert better. But I'll explain what I did with that later. So this is the conversion rate. You're going to look at this and say, hey, how come this is only at 0.48? So people coming from Facebook, not very likely to buy. So maybe I don't really care about driving much more traffic from there. Direct, they're pretty likely to buy at 3.4. And then Google CPC, we got 3%. They are pretty likely to buy. So maybe I'd want to send more of that kind of traffic to my website. Next up is transactions. So how many actual sales did I get from this channel? 210. And last is the revenue. So Google CPC made me $11,000. Google Organic made me $10,000. DIY pins in that period made me nothing. So maybe I don't want to spend as much time on DIY pins, or maybe I do. This is debatable. Direct, 10,000. So I want to know, how can I send more people to my URL directly? And a lot of that's going to be repeat traffic, so that's hard to do. I can look at CPC. The conversion rate there is about half of what it is for Google. So I hope this gives you an idea of some of the stuff that you can do. Now, one of the next things I want to talk about is you can use secondary dimensions. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Let's look at source is going to already be there. So you can, I'll just show you a quick example. Behavior landing page. And this is going to get crazy here. All right, so that brings up all the landing pages, and you could do a few different things. You can sort by source/medium. It'll take a second. It's a lot of data it's trying to calculate. All right, so that'll then take you to the landing page. So let's scroll down. So these are all the different source/mediums and all the different landing pages. So for instance, youtube.com, a lot of them come to my default page. Let's scroll down even further. A lot of YouTube. Yahoo Organic. So this just segments it off and breaks it up even more. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Pinterest DIY pins. So you can see a lot of people, about 50 people, are coming to 4 ways to change the hemline of your dance skirt from Pinterest DIY pins. This is important. Same thing, Pinterest DIY pins here, 4 ways. I can see which one of these are the most popular, and I know to make more of those. Wow, look at this one. Right here. Pinterest DIY pins, creating a square cut skirt. 400 something. All right, so that's a topic that people are interested in. Maybe I want to make more topics like that. So that just helps you segment it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and go up. And I'm going to get rid of this landing page. Just click that X. All right. And the next thing I want to show you is what to do with this source/medium data. And I already kind of mentioned it, but usually what I like to do is look at what are my top 5 or so referral sources. How am I getting traffic to my website? So my top 5 make up probably 80 to 90% of all my traffic. Like, that's a huge amount of traffic. So I want to spend as much time as possible doubling down on these. I want to try to figure out how can I get even more traffic out of that, because this is what's working. Let's do more of what is working. The next thing I might look at is what is making me the most revenue. Top 5 that are making me the most revenue. So Bing, so it looks like it's paid advertising and organic advertising. Okay, I want to double down on that. Another thing I'm going to look at is e-commerce conversion rate. And obviously there's some outliers here. Like, I only got two bits of traffic from this, so it's 100% e-commerce conversion rate. That doesn't really mean much. Want to look for like 234. So I got 234 from Bing Organic. Couponsore.com. Okay, well, that's because people are looking for coupons. Let's see, 260. Yahoo Organic, Direct, Google CPC. So you get an idea. So email. So that's something, I'm getting a pretty good conversion rate off email. Maybe I should be sending a little bit more emails out. Maybe I should prioritize that a little bit more. Instagram's not doing bad either. Right there. I believe and you look at pages / sessions as well. Another thing you might want to do is let's go back to the sessions. You can see this has a really small, and I already kind of mentioned it, a really small e-commerce conversion rate. How can I bump that up? What can I do to make my DIY pins convert better? And what I ended up doing is if you go to one of my DIY pins, it takes you to an email capture basically. So let's see, DIY pins. And that's actually getting a 4.31% conversion rate. So that's not actually bad. So I'm not making sales with my DIY pins, but I am capturing emails. So that is pretty good. And what I did is I clicked up here at goal set 1. You can also click on this e-commerce thing and it'll change all these columns for you. So let's look here. So the average order value, the highest one is from direct. The next highest one was when I did this email offer. Gives you a little idea of some of the different stuff. Per session value is pretty important. Let's see what the highest per session value is. Once again, these are some outliers you're gonna have to ignore. But email's not doing bad. That's pretty good. So my average per session value from email is pretty good. Let's go to 50. Direct, once again, keeps winning. So that's source / medium. That's some of the basics here. I hope that part was helpful. We still have a lot more to cover. The next thing I like to look at is I do run AdWords, as you can tell. And I'll go to this AdWords and I'll go to bid adjustments because that's one of my favorite things to look at. And this will let you know how to adjust the bids. Should you increase? Should you decrease? How much money, what's working, what's not working. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because these are some secrets I do not want to give away. But that can be very helpful if you're trying to tweak things. You can also look at what keywords are working for you. And actually my favorite one is search queries. So this is a list of all the search queries that people use to come to your website. And you can see I've got 2,068 of them. And what you can actually do if you want, and works on almost any page, you can export it as an Excel file. So let's do that together. You can export it as a few different things, but what I'll do is I'll export it as an Excel file. And let's go down here. Export Excel one more time. And it'll bring up a page like this. You can look at the data set 1, and this will be all the different search queries. And what you can do is go through these and try to find negative keywords. For instance, compression shorts, women. That's not something we're really selling, so we're really selling dance clothing. So I'd say, hey, that's a negative keyword. So this allows you to look at what people are using your AdWords, how they're getting to your website, and try to find some negative keywords. I'm not gonna dive too much deeper into this because I think this isn't applicable to everyone. If you're not running AdWords, it probably isn't very helpful to you. I want to go down and look at behavior now. So within behavior, there's a few really cool things. Let's look at behavior flow first off. So behavior flow allows you to see the path that people take when they get to your website. So most people go to my main homepage. And once they get there, this is just a repeat. They go to my main homepage again. But then you can see from here, a lot of people are going to shopping cart. People are going to search results, leotard, more leotards, and 93 other pages. Let's go ahead and look through there. But this could be more interesting. Let's go highlight through here. All right, so leotards. A lot of people are landing on my homepage from leotards, and they're going here, then they're going back to my homepage, and this just gives you an idea of the path that people are taking. Now, this is so much data, sometimes it's a little bit hard to go through. Another thing you can look at is if you go into site content, let's go all pages. This will show you the traffic that goes to all your different pages. And this is very helpful because you can see, all right, most people are going to my homepage. That's pretty typical. A lot of people are going to my shopping cart. But leotards. Leotards is actually my highest trafficked page. How can I improve this? So, and 56% of people are exiting. How can I lower that number? So now that we know that leotards is a very valuable page, we're going to try to figure out how we can improve it. So what I do is I like to look at my top 10 trafficked pages and see how I can improve them, because most your traffic is probably coming to your top 10, 20, 30 pages. Another thing you can do is look at what are your top landing pages, similar to top pages, but this is like the top pages people are actually landing on. And leotards is number 3. So I need to start putting a little bit more effort and emphasis on leotards, because that's really doing well for me. Another one, making a hairpiece with lace. So let's go to that page actually. Let's take a look at it. You can click here to go to that. So this page is all right. It's not the best. My thought now would be, how can I improve this and make it even better? So this email capture, that's great. That was a good addition. That's something that I did earlier when I was reviewing my stats. I realized that I needed to add an email capture. Exit pages, very similar to landing pages. We can try to figure out, all right, so one of my top exit pages is the leotard page, high waist page, and we try to figure out how can we make it so people aren't exiting. I would also look at things like site search overview. Actually, let's go to search terms. So this will let you know, if you set it up properly, it'll let you know what people are searching for on your website. So on my website, I have a little search box. And these are the things that people are searching for. So one thing you might want to do is look at what happens when people search for those. Okay, so that comes up good. Another thing this lets you know, if a lot of people are searching for it, it's probably because it's hard to find. So people aren't sure where to look. So leotards, it's actually under other, unitards and biketards. Leotard, so this will let you know what things people are searching for, and you're going to want to look and make sure and make it easier for people to find these things. The next thing we're going to look at is actually going to be transactions. This is another thing I really enjoy looking at. If you go to conversions, e-commerce, let's go to sales performance, and then you can see all your different sales. If you actually click on the secondary dimension, acquisition, source/medium, you can see where those sales are coming from. So a lot of my bigger sales are direct. That was organic, email 12 off. So if you ever have a sale and you're wondering, how did this person find me? You can go into sales performance and do a secondary dimension of source/medium. Now there's a lot of different secondary dimensions. I know I'm going fast and I know this is a lot of information, but you can play with this. You can see things like, what was the landing page? So default, boys sleeveless. So this person landed on this landing page. That's kind of interesting. You can also look at things like the date. That's pretty boring, but there's a lot you can look at. Let's see, city. That's a fun one. So Palmetto, all these different cities we have here. You can use this data to try to do a better job of targeting. You can look also at gender, is probably not very accurate. Country, not that accurate, or not that important to me since I'm mostly a US based. Age isn't always the most accurate either. A lot of information in secondary dimensions. I could do a whole video just on secondary dimensions, so we're not gonna go down that. Another thing I want to look at is the goals. So let's look at overview. Now, I can show in a separate video if you want how to set up goals, but once you have them set up, the question still is what to do with them. And so this is the overview page. Let's look at reverse goal path. I think it's kind of interesting, or funnel visualization. Funnel visualization. So you have to set up the funnels properly, but let's look at order placed. So this is how many people come to my shopping cart. This is how many people go to the one-page checkout, and this is how many people actually exit. So what this allows you to do is see what percentage of people you're losing, and I'm about 2/3 of people lose. I get lost. So we can see why. So they're going to this article, for instance. Let's see what that article is. So they're looking at this page, the customer service page. They're looking at the FAQs. So I'm losing some people because they're looking at the FAQs. But this, if you set it up properly, will allow you to see the different funnel visualizations. Let's see, email confirmation. That's pretty standard. Yeah, so that just lets you see some of the different goals and the funnels. Now let's look at audience. So we only have a little bit more left in this video. One of the things I like doing is going down to location. So the geolocation of the audience. So for me, most of my traffic comes from the United States, not surprisingly. Let's go ahead and click on that. Then from the United States, most of my traffic comes from California, Texas, Florida, and New York. Once again, not super surprising. What's maybe more interesting is what's the average pages per session? Let's look at that, for instance. So people from Iowa, they visit on average 4.65 pages. So the people from Iowa tend to be really engaged with what I'm selling. So maybe I should take more emphasis there and spend more of my ad dollars there. Same thing, New Jersey. Delaware is pretty good too. Mississippi. Another thing we can look at is the instead of the conversions for that, we can say e-commerce. What has the highest e-commerce conversion rate? So revenue, of course, is going to probably be highest in California, Texas, Florida, New York. But what has the highest conversion rate? So Oregon, Maine, Maryland, Washington, Oklahoma. We can look at these, and maybe I want to send catalogs. I want to send out catalogs of my products to those specific states because that seems to be where there's a really happening dance scene and they're really likely to buy from me. As opposed to, if you see, California is pretty low on the list. I don't know exactly where it is. It's at 33. That's not great at all. In fact, Oregon and Maryland and Washington have more than double the conversion rate. So I want to probably send more of my ad dollars up in these states because it seems to be where people are buying from me. You can also look at things like demographics, like overview. So it's saying most of my target audience is 35 to 45. Once again, I don't know how accurate this is. 84% female, 16% male. That seems like it's probably correct. Interest. And once again, this isn't going to be that accurate, but let's look at an overview. Shoppers / value shoppers, food and dining enthusiasts. So this just gives me an idea of the different audiences that I have here. So there's a lot more that we can look at. One last thing I want to show you is segments before we kind of wrap things up here. So let's close that. If you add a segment, and maybe what I want to do is instead of all users, I want to go in here and segment people based on, let's see. Let's see if I can do mobile. Mobile and tablet traffic. So you see I'm at 28,000 right now. But of that 28,000, 16,000 is mobile and tablet traffic. So that's a lot of mobile and tablet traffic. And what I can do now is see, all right, how do they interact with my website? So the conversion rate goes way down, as you can see. But first off, 60% of my traffic is mobile and tablet. That's really interesting. That means that I need to do a better job of having a mobile-friendly website. Another thing I can do, let's go ahead and remove that. I can do things like add segment. People that have 2+ transactions. And that was a custom one that I did. I can show in a separate video how to do that. made a purchase. That's a fun one. Apply. So, all right, of all the people that made a purchase, where are they coming from? So only 1,500 people actually made a purchase. So all this data and all the segmentation, there's so much more we could go into. I could do a whole course just on this. But basically, this allows you to look and really segment your audience and figure out, all right, where are the people coming from that actually make a purchase? Where are the people coming from that make 2+ purchases? What about mobile traffic? What is their pattern? How are they different from people that come on desktop? So there is so much you can do. We're just scratching the surface with this. If you enjoyed this video and you want more like it, make sure you click that subscribe button. It's down below at the bottom. I also have the e-commerce success pack, and I'll make sure to include a checklist for checking your Google Analytics. Click up here. It has a bunch of other goodies as well. It has things like checklists for your AdWords and starting an online store, marketing ideas, how to hire a virtual assistant, the complete guide. And last but not least, if you have any questions about Google Analytics, please leave it below as a comment and I will make sure and respond to it.